Hi everyone. So today's case is technically a PPO violation. It's stemming from a divorce case. It's over in Judge Middleton's courtroom, and stay to the very end of the video because I have a cute interaction between Judge Middleton and TJ Reed. As always, I am not an attorney. All comments are my opinion. I am not making any legal conclusions nor offering any legal advice, and all persons are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Down below is links to join membership for my channel. I will have merch coming soon. And if you want to help support Luna's BarkBox habit, the links for that down below too. So please subscribe, like, comment, share, and let's get over to the courtroom.
Good afternoon. We're gonna try to squeeze in a emergency bond violation hearing. As soon as Mr. Reed joins us, we'll get in and let everybody say hello to everybody else. All right, let's see if Mr. Reed is here yet. It's got a minute or two. Mr. Helland, somehow you muted your microphone and turned off the camera. I had him here and I put him in the waiting room.
Okay.
And then everything got shut off, so he's in there. Mr. Helland, did you get Casey's email about the PPO?
Yeah, that they're declining it. There it is. There it is. There it is.
I had to get up.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Well, my Zoom restarted and updated this afternoon when I went to log on. So
We had a blink while I was returning an email. Anyway, let's call the case. We're a little early. I'm not sure if the prosecutor's gonna come. Maybe I'll let it tick for a minute. We gave Casey the 1:15 time. I bet it's nice in Key West right now.
it's actually pretty nice here in Sturgis today for
Yeah, for November. This is file number 221744. The title of the case is People versus Daniel Wayne Richter Helland. In this particular case, he's charged with interfering with the crime report and domestic violence that allegedly occurred on September 6th. The defendant retained attorney Timothy Reed to represent him in this matter. And when I first saw this morning that the defendant was in custody, I looked him up and saw that Mr. Reed was his attorney. I don't know anything about this. We haven't actually had a pretrial yet, at least not one I was involved in. It's set for a last pretrial coming up in December 15th. The defendant, Mr. Helland, is also subject to a personal protection order, which we will not be addressing here, as the prosecutor is not going to pursue that. And Judge Stutzman is the one that issued the order.
I think Judge Tomlinson did. I believe Judge Tomlinson did, Your Honor. At least that's where we had a hearing before Judge Tomlinson on it.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought what I saw anyway, it isn't mine. So no wonder I didn't know anything about it. So Mr. Reed had given me some information this morning that didn't make any sense to me because I didn't know anything about it. The information here is also somewhat vague. I've titled this matter an emergency bond violation, and the emergency is you're sitting in jail. You were arrested last night by Deputy Jennings, and I will read you the sum total of what I know about this. Daniel Helland was arrested and he was subject to the bond conditions. The defendant violated those conditions, C violations. Now, the bond conditions that are in effect were put in place by our excellent magistrate, Mr. Mark Trowbridge. Second paragraph, no drugs or no alcohol were to be consumed, test upon demand. There's no indication alcohol was involved. Here's the issue. No contact whatsoever with Sabrina Helland. He did not specifically prohibit you from going to the road address. That's very often a bond condition, that you not have any contact and you not go to the address. That was not a condition. The only condition was you not have any contact with Sabrina Helland. No weapons and no assaultive or threatening or intimidating behavior against anybody, especially Sabrina Helland. So the police got called out there at about 8:30 last night, and they took you into custody, and here you are on the cusp of a Thanksgiving weekend. They will not be pursuing the personal protection order. Mr. Reed, do you wish to talk to your client privately in a breakout room?
Real briefly, Your Honor, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
All right.
All right. I'm not seeing an option to go. There it is. Thank you.
Get more than one room open, I get sideways.
There we go.
All right, let's try again, Mr. Helland. Can't get myself out of here. Darn it. Delete. There we go. Let's start over. All right, try again. Let me close the breakout room.
There he is.
All right, we're returning to the matter of people of the state of Michigan versus Daniel Wayne Richter Helland. Mr. Helland, you're very fortunate. Mr. Reed was willing to just drop everything he was doing to participate in this. As I indicated, I let him know first thing this morning, probably before 8 o'clock. And neither he nor I know a whole lot about this. Mr. Reed, what is your position here?
Thank you, Your Honor. And I did speak with Ms. Strong. She did send an email, Ms. Strong, for the record, as a prosecuting attorney handling the criminal case. She was declining on the PPO violation. We believe we have a resolution that I need to talk to Mr. Helland a little bit more in person on the overall resolution to the criminal case, which will probably be done within the next week or two. But on this
last pretrial is set for 12/15.
Yeah, it will be done before then. It will be resolved before then, or at least set before resolution on that date. But Mr. Helland explains to me, and as the court is correct, there are 3 children involved in a divorce, so there's a divorce action pending. The PPO had been modified to allow contact relating to the minor children, the business in which Mr. Helland runs and that the wife is a part of to a degree. They had a lot of tools, other equipment that are used for the business at the home. That's why I believe there was no prohibition from him going there. He was also picking the kids up there regularly. He indicated that in this particular situation, he never saw or had contact with Miss Helland, that in fact, it was an aunt of Miss Helland's that came out and began arguing with Mr. Helland about he needed to remove certain items from the house and take this and essentially put her nose into a situation that didn't belong. And that was where the argument was. It wasn't with the actual complaining witness in this case. So,
Well, in the meantime, he's sitting in jail.
and I can say this to the court, which is very true. There has been an order and a disagreement between the parties and the attorneys regarding holiday parenting time this Thanksgiving and Christmas break. So I find the timing a little precarious since he's been going over there to pick up the kids. At one point, she was doing his laundry and putting it out on the porch so he could pick it up. And all of this had been going on. And then the day before a holiday weekend, he gets arrested on a bond violation for something that had been going on. since the start of the case. So I'm a little suspect of that. I do know that the prosecutor, I had a conversation with her this morning, is satisfied with what her and I discussed about resolving the case, and Mr. Helen and I have discussed this. And at this point, allow the PPO and the civil case to proceed. We would ask that the court grant a PR bond, release him from custody today so he can go about his business. And I mean, he's supposed to pick up the kids for Thanksgiving and have them this weekend.
All right. What I'm gonna do, trying to see what time that PPO is set for. I mean, the last pretrial. It'll give us a target date.
Sure.
I'm gonna grant the original $1,500 PR bond. I can't really give him 1 day credit 1 day because at this point I haven't established that he violated anything.
Sure.
But the last pretrial is set for 12/8, not 12/15.
You know what, Your Honor, if you might just set that as a notice of plea.
All right, and I'll.
Since that is the date for it, I mean, I don't want to.
Well, it's scheduled, but I'm gonna continue this hearing on the bond violation for December 8th at 2:30. You're already scheduled to be here.
Yep.
It will give you and Ms. Strong an opportunity to discuss the further.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I'm confident in talking to Ms. Strong this morning as well as my client briefly, but I do need to get him in for a little bit more depth count that we have this matter resolved. So on the 8th, it'll be done.
All right, the complaint, the bond also says no violation of assaultive or threatening behavior. Says he was out ranting and raving about the tax returns in the garage. He denies being in the garage. I don't find that he had any contact with her. They don't even allege it. So Mr. Shattuck, you're gonna get out of jail here. Original $1,500 PR bond. The notice of further hearing on the bond violation will be at the same time as the last trial, which will be December 8th at 2:30.
Thank you.
I thought that's what it said.
December 5th. I'm in it right now.
Well,
December 15th is what I have.
All right, because I thought it said the 15th and then,
Oh, I see it at the 15th on my calendar. There it is.
well, this one says, look what I'm looking at. 12/8. Is there another one? 4.
Should be. We had to move it from 12.
No, there's another one.
Yeah.
It is 12/15.
Yes,
Must have been you had a conflict or something.
somebody had a
didn't you?
conflict.
All right,
Yeah.
there was a 12, let me give you this, so
Okay.
you can give it to the ladies for the bond.
Sure.
All right, the bottom line, Mr. Helen, you're gonna get out of jail. And we will address this further on the 15th unless somebody tells me otherwise.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Someone named TJ Reed is joining us.
Hear me?
Yes, I can. Getting squared away here. Sergeant Heath, the birthday boy, was getting he said he was having a wonderful time on his.
By the way, happy birthday to you too.
Oh, thank you. He said he wished every birthday was this much fun.
Yeah. Spent in jail. How old are you?
I'm about 20 years older than him.
All right.
All right, this is a case of deja vu all over again. It's entitled People of the State of Michigan versus Daniel Wayne Helen. Mr. Timothy Reed is here. Mr. Helen, once again, I had to align all the stars. I saw first thing when I came in this morning that you'd been arrested. I advised Mr. Reed, and he already knew about it. Also here with us is Casey Strong from the prosecutor's office, who is aware of this circumstance. We just had a violation of bond hearing last week. I gave the defendant, I let him out on a PR bond. He hasn't been found responsible yet. I set a PR bond in $1,500 and set the bond violation hearing with the last pretrial for December 15th at 2:45. Allegation here, Mr. Helen, is that you violated the no contact provision of your bond by, I'll just read it as it's written. I, Deputy Jennings, made contact with Sabrina Helen, who advises that her soon-to-be ex-husband, Daniel, drove to the residence on Root Road, parked his vehicle in the driveway. Daniel contacted her through text messages demanding that she bring out his mail. After Daniel left, he went back to his residence, Quaker Road. Contact was made with Daniel at Quaker Road. He did admit to going to the residence in an attempt to get a package that was delivered and some mail. He then informed me that he did text Sabrina stating that he wanted his mail. One option is to leave you in jail until December 15th when we sort this out. I'm getting sick up and fed with this. I didn't do the PPO order, but you need to chill out till you get this thing resolved. Divorce and other pending case, you have a tolerance level of about 0.01. Mr. Reed, what's your position here?
Well, this is gamesmanship on behalf of there was no threat, no issue here. The real story is she contacted him and said, hey, you have a package here you need to come pick up. And she was upset at the time he showed up to get it, not that he had contacted her that I'm here to get the package. So these all stem and surround around the fact that she wants certain parenting time provisions that are not ordered, and he's not agreeable, and he gets arrested shortly thereafter. There's a disagreement. I don't disagree that there's 3 different orders in place between Mr. and Mrs. Helen at this point. And we have a resolution with the prosecutor's office. I would like to get Mr. Helen in to talk to me, but Miss Helen seems to call the cops every other week when she's not, or every other day when she's not happy. And Mr. Helen gets arrested. The first one, I can, there was no contact at all with Miss Helen on that one. And so I understand.
And again, you're not a witness and you're not under oath, but Mr. Helen, quit putting yourself in this situation. Stay away.
I agree with that 100%.
Don't answer a text. Don't do anything. You've got a lawyer. You're paying him money. He's here trying to keep you from shooting yourself in the foot. And you put yourself in the situation where the cops come, and there you go. The allegation is that you texted her. There's this sort of half and half PPO where you're not to have contact, but you can go on the property to get the children, which just causes problems. So, Ms. Strong, what's your position?
Your Honor, I would echo the position of the court. I'm getting pretty frustrated seeing Mr. Helen's name pop up. His attorney and I have spent a significant amount of time talking about this case and working towards a resolution, especially with all of these competing court orders. It's hard to keep Mr. Helen on track. Is he supposed to comply with the bond conditions? Is he supposed to comply with the PPO order? Because the conditions in those 2 orders are different. And it's the opinion of the prosecutor's office that he needs to comply with all orders. There's a criminal case going on. That is the case that we are involved in. That case, in our opinion, takes priority. And until that case is resolved, I would really like it if Mr. Helen stopped having communication with Ms. Helen and this just got resolved. There's an offer on the table. That offer will remain open, but if we continue having these violations, that offer is not going to remain open, and Mr. Helen can face the charges without a plea deal. But I'm hopeful that he can get in to speak with his attorney. He can stay out of jail and stop violating the orders, and we can get this resolved.
I mean, and I understand the court's position, and I definitely agree with the court that restraint for the next 2 weeks until we're done is obviously the best medicine in this particular situation.
Mr. Helen, I think you even agree with that. I'm probably preaching to the choir you don't want to have any contact with her. But this is the kind of case where something bad happens. We read about it in the newspaper every day. And I don't want to read your name at the candlelight vigil, and I sure don't want to read her name. So talk to your lawyer. Don't answer anything. Wait for your mail. Don't let somebody else pick up the kids for visitation, or I am going to leave you in jail.
So at this point, Your Honor, the 15th is a plea. I've already, briefly talked to Mr. Helen. The court has that. It's already noticed. Everything is there. Everybody's been noticed for that. And I think that would allow the court then to actually implement everything that date. I'll have him in before then. We'll go through all the paperwork. But it will be a plea on the 15th. So I know it's set for final pretrial, and that's from Ms. Strong as well, because her and I discussed this last week, and she is correct. We have had numerous conversations, both in person, via telephone, and via email, about the resolution and bringing this case to resolve. And I think we have a good plan forward that's going to help Mr. Helen, help the divorce case. And it's going to be with the deferral, which is going to have counseling component and different tools involved. So we're moving in the right direction. We just need to get there.
All right. I'm going to double your bond from last time. I made it $1,500 PR. This will be $3,000 PR. But I don't want to see you again until I see you on December 15th. You got better things to do than keep spending days in jail. You just need to keep a cool head.
Mm-hmm.
Your lawyer is looking out for your interests. You need to rely on his advice. So you got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Dan,
All right.
no contact, just steer 100% clear. Even if she continues to text you, just ignore the text.
Because you're the one on the head of the pin. All right, you're going to get out of jail again. Like I said, it took me all day to get everybody here in the same place at the same time.
Thank you.
But I'll get this paperwork right out there. The prosecutor's patience is wearing thin also. So let's hope for the best. We can get this resolved on the 15th of December at 2:45. Thank you.
Give me a
Mr.
call tomorrow, Dan, at my office, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Jordan, we have a COVID circumstance at the jail. Although we can do Mr. Reed and Mr. Smith.
Do you have a COVID issue?
Mr. Reed has one too.
Right.
TJ, your client, Mr. Helen, got arrested again.
Yeah, and I talked to Casey a little bit about this and read the bond information and that. And I actually contacted the sheriff's department and asked what was going on there and why that triggered an arrest.
Maybe it's alleged that he texted her, I guess.
Well, she even indicated that she reached out to him about a package and she was mad that he showed up to pick up the package too early, and so she called the cops. So,
all right. Well, how are you looking for this afternoon?
I can get in there probably 1:30ish, 1:15 at 1:30.
Well, I've got a full landlord tenant docket. It's really ugly.
Just PR him
Really?
and PR him and set it for the 25th. I mean, the issue there, and I think Casey and I have been talking, is there's a PPO that allows for them to have contact and allows for them. And the domestic relations issue, they're supposed to be entering into an order, and they keep disagreeing over the order. And then when there's a disagreement, she calls the cops.
They can't agree on anything. I didn't do the PPO.
No,
Change it to no contact whatsoever. It's just a recipe for further problems. I start right at 1:10. I might have a break at about 2:00.
I've got a 2 o'clock with Judge Pattison.
Are you going to be here at the court?
No, it's going to be via Zoom.
And then I have a bunch of small claims. I've got Mr. George, and then I've got difficult case with a translator at 4:15 that some dum-dum, namely me, stuck in.
Who puts that at 4:15?
Yeah, some dummy who, anyway, it ain't looking good. I'm gonna fit him in somewhere. I will. What's your hearing at 2?
It is a motion for change of custody, parenting time, and support.
Well, that's gonna take a while. I'll just set this out about 15 days and then we'll address it then.
Well, again, I think that if you look at, there's no conduct here that hasn't been conduct for 3 months. It's that they can't,
Right.
he doesn't agree to her taking the kids to Florida all the Christmas break, so she calls the cops to get him arrested twice.
And he won't back down an inch, so he keeps getting arrested and none of it's his fault.
Well, I'm
So-
not saying that it's not. I'm just saying that this here is he went to the end of the driveway and texted, said you can bring it out now, and she called the cops.
Yeah, you're right. I've seen a lot worse. All right, we'll figure something out. I'll see how you're doing next door.
Yeah, it can be fluid. I may be able to in and out at those times. So just, I'll be around.
All right, but you are aware of it. All
Yep.
right, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Debbie will be all over it.
The bond violation report just came in on Deval.
On who?
Not
The
for
guy I
you.
just incarcerated.
I was like, wait a minute.